Education comes along. The Department of Education comes along with regular and substantive interaction. So this is something we have been, as in the distance learning department here at Bladen Community College, we have been pushing rather heavily with our online hybrid and blended classes. And we have been pushing Harmonize as a way to enable instructors to more easily meet regular and substantive interaction requirements, because there's so many different ways to use Harmonize. So I'm going to stop there. And before turning it over to Alan for a demonstration, I thought I would take any questions that anybody may have. If anybody has any questions. Okay. If there are no questions,
feel free to unmute. Alan did address an ADA accessibility question that was in the chat, but I haven't seen anything else right now. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, very good. Well, yeah, continue to ask questions in the chat there, and I'll see them pop open, and I'll address them as we come up. Sometimes it's easier to put those questions in the chat and address them while we're kind of on the screen that the question you may have is. So feel free to do that. I will begin sharing my screen now. And we're going to take a brief look at Harmonize here, just kind of a high-level overview for you. I'm going to do it through Moodle because, you know, in my experience working with the community colleges there, seems like about, I don't know, 65–70% of y'all use Moodle. Rest mostly use Blackboard, but it works in any of the 4 major LMSs: Blackboard, Canvas, Moodle, Brightspace. So it'll look the same in any of them. Just click past to get there is going to be a little bit different. So I'll go in here. I'm on Moodle 4.0, I think. That's what I've been told. But it works with other versions of Moodle as well. And I'll click on a course, go into this course, and we'll take a look at a Harmonize assignment. So we have our week 1 here, an engineering course here. And we have a discussion about bridges. You know, what makes this bridge iconic? So I'm going to click on that. And unlike the standard discussions that you get, which kind of have an old school, kind of outdated look and feel to them, what you get in Harmonize is a much more visually engaging interface. What you're seeing here with these cards, each card represents a student post. Okay, so we have our instructions, which we'll look at in a second, and then the students start to make posts. But instead of defaulting to that long threaded view, what you get instead here is every student post is a card. You can click on the card to flip it over and read that post, and then see all of the comments related to that post. If you post an image in your post, then that'll default to being the thumbnail on the card. So it's much easier to scan through, see what you might want to comment on as you look at the discussion. However, if you prefer the other view, what we call the list view, you can click this button and you can switch it to list view. So each user has the ability to change that, so it makes most sense for them. Now we'll click on the instructions here. And we can see our instructions for this assignment. So we can see, you know, I put my text-based instructions, but I don't want to rely solely on text. I'm going to give them some examples. And so I put in some images here. So I've put in a few images that they can look at. I even created a video. And I gave the instructions to the students via video. So there's me. Notice the auto captioning. All videos you create in Harmonize are captioned for accessibility. The captioning is highly accurate. Of course, if a word did come out wrong, then you'd be able to download that file and correct that one word, upload it back in. But gets me at 100% pretty much every time. And some folks might say I have a heavy Southern accent. Of course, that joke doesn't go too well in this crowd, because I think probably most of us do. So I've given the instructions via video. Okay, didn't have to upload that. I can upload videos in here, but I gave that just by clicking the Harmonize record button. Polling as well. So Harmonize does polling, and the poll could be as part of the assignment instructions. You also want the student to participate in a poll. So I've given them a poll question here, they can vote. And I can download the results when they're ready, so summary results or a list of participants. So either get the students' feedback, see what they're currently thinking, or list of participants, because it's an easy way to track attendance. If you participated in the poll, you were there. So we can use that polling. Note that polling can be used inside the discussion instructions or the prompt like I'm doing right here, but it doesn't have to be used that way. You could, instead choose to create a poll as its own standalone item. So, here I've got my week 1, I've got some different activities here, and one of those could just be a poll, a graded poll. That'll go straight to the grade book if they respond. And as was mentioned earlier, we do have a Zoom integration, but any meeting software you use will work as well. By putting the URL there, you would be able to, for example, put your lecture here. You want them to watch the lecture prior to participating? Great. You can give them the date and time, so if they can make it live, that link will be live 10 minutes prior to the start of the session. And then, of course, you can upload it back for those who couldn't make it live. You have the whole recording there. That could be an hour-long Zoom session. It wouldn't matter. That won't be a problem, and it will also be auto-captioned for you. So you'd be able to do that. Easy way to cut back on your storage in the LMS, because we don't have storage fees. So put your lectures there, or a question and answer session, your weekly office hours, anything you want to put, you have that meeting integration. Now, if I scroll back up to the top here, probably the feature that most folks get excited about, it's one of the most requested features in discussion boards, and none of the major LMSs have it, and that is multiple due dates for a single discussion. Obviously, one of the biggest complaints that many faculty members have is, I'll open up my discussion on Monday morning, and it's available until Sunday at 11:59 p.m., but 95% of the activity takes place 10 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. Students wait until the last minute to, make their posts and comments. And so the discussion's pretty much dead throughout the week. And then, you get that, mad rush at the end where they're just checking a box. Now, if the purpose of discussions is collaboration and peer-to-peer learning, that's not getting the job done. And so what you can do with Harmonize when you set up this assignment is that you are able to set multiple due dates. Your first post is going to be due on this date. First comment is going to be due 3 days later. And then your second comment is due at the final due date. So you give them these interim due dates. One common example we see is post by Wednesday, 2 comments by Sunday. Okay, we see that all the time. And what that ensures is that students are now coming in, instead of being one and done type of assignment, they're now coming into the discussion multiple times throughout the week. By very definition, their engagement is increasing due to this structure that we're able to put in place. It also ensures that if somebody comes in midweek and wants to comment on other people's posts, there's something to comment on. Because we do send auto email reminders to students too, so you don't have to remind them that they have a due date coming up. We're going to take care of that for you. And finally, you can even put auto participation scoring on any step in the process here. Instead of having to do the legwork of count up, well, did the student do the requirements? Did they do them on time? Let us calculate that for you. When we go to the grading interface, which we'll see in a second, we'll be able to see, for example, if the student did 1 post and 1 comment, but not the second comment, you would see a 75 show. Now, of course, you can override that based on the quality. Maybe the student was sick and they got their, comment in late or something like that. That's completely at your discretion, but you don't have to do the legwork of actually calculating that. We'll do that for you. Now, let's take a look at a student post here. So I could create a post here, but we'll look at one that's already been created. Looks like Nikki here posted about the Golden Gate Bridge, and she put some text here, uploaded an image. You can resize that image, put another paragraph, and then put a YouTube video. It's as easy as copy and paste. You just copy and paste it in. It's automatically going to display this way, where you can play it on screen here. Now, probably, if multiple due dates is why a lot of faculty love this, probably another reason is the Turnitin integration. having turn it in built into the discussion. So instead of having to kind of manually copy and paste the entire discussion, put it in, turn it in, and figuring out what's going on, turn it in automatically integrates. If you have a turn it in account and you have a Harmonize account, they're going to automatically talk with each other. So instructors are going to be able to see the turn it in score on each and every student post. Not only turn it in, if there's any of y'all out there who are using Original, which was formerly known as Irkind, or Unicheck, we do integrate with those providers as well. And if we click the turn it in badge, it's just going to open up another tab where I'm going to be able to see this student's entire turn it in report like I'm familiar with, where I can see, yep, this was all prior submitted work. So one click of a button. Other cool thing is not only does the image look nice, but you can see it's been annotated. And so, you know, Dan in here came in and made a comment, put a call out there, you know, put some shapes in there. And it's as easy as clicking the annotate button. So I click here, you know, I can make any annotations that I want, including a video annotation where I want to give a video comment about this image that the students posted. So I'm going to open up my video recorder, and just like that, I'll click start recording, and I'll record a video saying, hey, Nikki, great image you posted there. Did you notice this? And blah, blah, anything that I want to say, I can go ahead and just record a video with one click of a button. By default, the student who uploaded the video or the instructor can annotate it. However, if the instructor allows it, there's simply a switch that you toggle, then you can also open that up so that other students can annotate it. And so we're all about giving students different options by which to express themselves in the discussion. Maybe for some assignments, a 100-word comment is what's going to be necessary, and that's the way it should be. But maybe in other scenarios, annotating what your classmate posted is going to be the bulk of your response. And you would be able to set up assignments so the student comments are actually going to be going in here and annotating what these other students have posted. Now, I did see we have a question in the chat. If you don't have turn it in, can you use Safe Assign? That's a good question. Unfortunately, no. Safe Assign is the only one we can't get to cooperate with us at this time. There were, I guess, 4 major providers. We reached out to all of them. 3 of them that I already mentioned, you know, chose to allow us to integrate. Blackboard owns Safe Assign, and Blackboard says there's no, I don't want to start using technical terms, it's going to look bad, but something like no API that you can connect to do that. Don't fully understand it, but it's not currently available. I will mention as well with the annotations, not only can you annotate images, but videos as well. Think about the speech course where a student's giving a speech. You're able to mark that up as well. So you stop the video at a very specific point in the video and give them feedback right there on that screen. Okay, so you're able to annotate video, same annotation tools. You're just going to stop it, put a timeline marker in there, and give them feedback that way. Great way for interactive feedback. And now we see all of the different comments. So it looks like Laverne has commented and posted some images here. Teresa's commented as well. We see all of the students in here commenting. You have a good lively discussion, posted links, videos. And when you're ready to add a comment, just click add comment. And you can type your comment here. You can drag and drop any files or click to browse, PDF, images, videos, whatever you want. Or you can do things like tagging your classmates. So, hey, you know what? Darren was talking about this last week. I want to tag him in this comment. So if I tag Darren in a comment, now at the very top here, there's your notifications bell. Darren's going to have a new notification that he has been tagged in a comment. Anytime somebody tags you, anytime somebody comments on your post, anytime somebody gives you a thumbs up on your post, you're getting notified, and you're getting notified at the frequency that you wish. So you can customize your notifications to come in when you would like them to. So we've tagged there, another way to kind of organically get him coming back into the discussion. For any math courses out there, you know, you have your built-in equation editor, so you could start typing out an equation here, insert that in, and that will look like an equation. You'll notice that's an image, but it is fully accessible. It will read back to you on a screen reader. And we can do some other things as well. We mentioned polling. Maybe, you know, in your comment, you know, you see that Golden Gate Bridge comment and you now want to get some classmates feedback, like, you know, how many of y'all have been to the Golden Gate Bridge? I'll type that out. I'll just give a simple yes or no here. Don't remember. So we use a poll. Again, we talked about the annotations being one way they can interact besides just text, images, but even polling. Okay, polling, we think of that as an instructor tool mostly, but students are using it as well. Or one scenario that I think about is when I'm typing, I mean, y'all see me typing, it's not terribly accurate, but I'm typing and talking at the same time. I'm pretty good. I mean, hopefully most folks are impressed here. But I'm pretty good typing behind a laptop. I can hit like 70 words a minute behind my laptop. However, get me on my phone, that's a different story. I use that swipe text thing, and it, like every third word, it gives me the wrong word. Very frustrating, but we know that a good percentage of the students are doing their work on their mobile device. Not everybody can afford an $1,800 MacBook to do their schoolwork on. They shouldn't be penalized for that. So what you're able to do in Harmonize, first of all, it's a very mobile-friendly interface. It's actually mobile first. It looks better on a mobile device than what you're seeing right here. It works. You don't have to download an app for it. It's going to work inside your LMS app, whether that's the Moodle app, the Brightspace Pulse app, the Canvas student teacher app, or the Blackboard app. But thinking more to that mobile experience, for somebody like me who doesn't type really well, if I had to give a 100-word comment on my phone, that would be pretty frustrating. So instead, as a student, I'm just going to click the video button, click video recorder, and I'm just going to give my comment. I got a high quality comment I want to give. I'm going to give it via video. So I'm going to give a video response here. And just like the instructor videos, this is going to be auto captioned for accessibility. So I can create a pretty interactive comment right here. A lot of different options. Just we want to put more tools in the student's tool bag so that they're able to respond in the way that's most comfortable for them. Now it's time to grade. So we'll go into grades and activity right here. And I can see what everybody's done in the discussion. So if you want to come in, you know, early in the week, you know, see like who's already done everything so I can get that grading out of the way. We're going to show you this interface here. Hey, looks like Edith has done the most. Let's see what she's done here. I click on Edith, and yes, she has completed all of her milestones. We set up those multiple due dates. She's done each one. Her participation auto grade based on the points that I set up is a 100%. I can choose to do absolutely nothing here, and that 100% will pass to the grade book. Okay. Or I can choose to override that by punching in a score right here. Okay, so one thing to note, most assignments, I suspect instructors are going to want to check for quality. For example, Edith posted about the Brooklyn Bridge. Why don't we see a Turnitin submission there? Oh, because there's 0 total words. Okay, you know, you should probably put some words in there with that image as well. However, there are some assignments. Harmonize is used, you know, one of the most widely used ways to use Harmonize, as Ray was saying earlier, is introduce yourself to the class because you have that easy video component. And you may not care what the student says there. You just want them to post a video about themselves and then comment on 2 other people's videos. And you don't have to ever come in here and actually give them, you know, actually punch in 100, 100. You don't have to take the time to do that. If they do it, that will pass straight back to the grade book. We'll take a look at what Edith did. She made 2 posts and has given 2 comments. Posted about the Brooklyn Bridge here. Oh, also posted about political bridges. Okay. 96%. Ooh, that's pretty high score. 280 words. I can see everything she's done here. 2 posts, 2 comments. She's received 1 comment and 2 reactions. Well, let's give her another reaction. We'll give her a reaction on this post. So I'll click that react button and we'll give her that thumbs up for I agree. Students are able to react as well. She's also viewed 5 out of the 20 posts in this discussion. So even where Edith is not actually commenting or reacting to people's posts, it's nice to see that she's read a few posts. Okay, so a good indicator of whether the student's engaged, they may make the bare minimum number of comments, but they may be clicking and reading around, and we're going to show you that. We want to see her comments. Well, let's take a look at them. Here was one of her comments, and here was the other. I don't have to go back to the discussion now to figure out who she was commenting on, okay? We can see here both of these comments were in response to Nikki's post about the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, so we get that in context, doing this all from one tab right here. So we get all the comments in context. We get the additional statistics. We can see everything the student's done. We could even choose to add our comments while we're here grading. Okay, and we see the same interface come up here as we looked at while we were in the discussion. And so we'll punch in the grade here. Add a private comment here that will also go back to the grade book, so she knows why she got the grade that she got. So we can punch that comment in here as well. And now we're done. So we make it really easy for instructors, and this is why this is a tool that instructors do widely adopt, because there's actually motivation, not only from like an altruistic perspective of like we want students to do better and succeed, but also it makes your life easier. It's much easier to grade. So we're able to do that as well. Now, there are some additional features. I mentioned, we talked about polling a little bit. Another feature that you have access to is chat. Okay, so Harmonize comes with built-in chat. So I can click on Edith's name here. Let's say I want to send her a private message that I didn't want, you know, to comment for other people to see. She's offline, but I could choose to send her a chat right here. As you can see, I'm online, but I could change my status if I don't want people to see me online. So we've got chat. Looks like I've got one new message as well. If I click on that, start a new chat, got one new message I haven't read here. There's my entire conversation history. Let's pick a class that I'm enrolled in, and I can start chatting with anybody in the class. Or let's say it's a group project we're working on. Let's use Harmonize to communicate about that. It's a good, safe, accountable way that you can encourage students to communicate with one another. We know that students are using social media to communicate. Of course, if they happen to be, you know, using that to cheat on tests or something, or, you know, heaven forbid, say something harassing to somebody else, you know, somebody makes an accusation, there's not much you can do with it because you don't own that data that they're chatting on their social media accounts. You do own all the Harmonized data. So, you know, here, if somebody said anything, any administrator in your LMS can actually read these transcripts. And if something's deleted, you know, nothing from the internet is truly deleted, right? And so we can always get you that transcript. So good, safe, accountable way for students to be able to communicate with each other, and you as the instructor to be able to communicate with students to, again, get back to that regular and substantive interaction discussion that we're having, which kind of leads to the final piece of this, and that is engagement insights, okay? And so we have this graph right here. If you click on the graph, you're going to be able to jump to engagement insights. Engagement insights, we use an artificial intelligence engine that's looking at over 250 data points to identify for you which students may be at risk. As an instructor, you need to regularly and substantively interact with your students, but that doesn't necessarily need to be random. Okay, I'm going to pick 5 students from, you know, my course today and interact with those students. What we can do instead is identify for you which students need your help and attention the most. Easy way to be able to kind of take a proactive role in increasing student success and retention. So it looks like I have 29 students who are on track. That's good. In comparison with everybody in the course, these 29 are on track. However, I do have some students with some concerns, either low, medium, or high risk. We see Flora is high risk. Unfortunately, her trend is worsening because as we see week 1, she was on track. This is definitely someone we want to reach out to. So I click reach out, but before I do, what am I going to say? Like, why is she at risk? There's over 250 data points. Well, we're going to spell those out for you in plain English. Doesn't spend as much time engaging with this course as her peers. Interacts less with fellow students. and hasn't made as many posts or comments. So now I have some context as to why she's showing to be at risk. I simply click the button, I can send her a private chat, or I can comment on her post from that week to kind of bring her back into the discussion. Now, if I want more detail, I can click activity over time. And if I click that button, it's going to show me how this student is doing in all of the different areas measured by engagement insights. So we have 5 categories here. This is how we classify our data points here. Content being one. So we're analyzing the grade level of the student's post, the words per sentence, the syllables per word, different data like that. Timing, obviously, earlier is better. Quantity, the number of posts and comments you're making in comparison with your peers. And that is in comparison with your peers in this course. We don't cross course compare because we don't expect, you know, an English course and a math course to have the same level of discussion. Connectedness, you know, a measurement of how a student is interacting with their peers. So how often are they commenting back and forth, going back and forth with one another? And finally, requirements. And I've got requirements checked right here. So how consistently is this student meeting the requirements? I set up those multiple due dates, and I want to see how consistently the student's on track. Well, here in this first one, she's very similar to her peers. Well, that was ungraded, assignment 1.1. I was probably a introduce yourself to the course type of thing. She did take a dip right here where she was below her peers. She got a 72 on that assignment, but I did reach out to her via email on the 13th at 2:28 p.m. So my outreach is recorded. And I am able to see, it looks like my outreach actually did a pretty good job because, you know, right after she got, you know, she kind of got closer to being similar to her peers here. So I can track, yeah, my outreach, you know, it worked that time. It helped kind of get her back on the right path. And then finally, I mentioned your outreach log where you're able to demonstrate that you're doing your due diligence and reaching out to students. And so if we do click on that, we're able to see, well, it looks like, here's my communication history with Laura. I sent her an email on the 12th, sent her a Harmonize chat 4 days later. Then I commented on her post. I picked up the phone and gave her a call, and I just, you know, recorded that manually here. Sent her another chat. And so I'm able to demonstrate, yes, Flora is at risk here, but I'm doing everything I can to help get Flora back on track. An easy way to be able to demonstrate your regular and substantive interaction with students. So with that, we have about 15 minutes left to the top of the hour. That is going to kind of conclude the presentation. So just wanted to open it up at this point for any questions that anybody may have. And this would be a good time if you want to, you know, if you're not good at typing or, you know, if unmute your mic and you can ask if that's a little bit easier as well. And again, your microphone may be muted if
Everyone seems pretty quiet at the moment. You do have the ability to unmute your mic, so feel free to do that.
or if
Great
you're more
presentation, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and if anybody would like additional information, I will actually put my email address there in the chat. If you'd like to learn more about this, we do work with 7 of the community colleges in the North Carolina system, several of the universities as well, who are seeing great success. So do feel free to reach out to me if you'd like more information.
We'll give that instructional pause. If anybody has any questions that pop up, feel free. But after a few minutes here, then I will stop the recording and give you a little time back to your day. But really appreciate both Alan and Ray and this presentation.
Yeah, thank you all for being here.
All right, I'm seeing a few folks drop off, and I'm not hearing any questions at the moment. I love that you guys were addressing the Department of Education stuff, but I'll stop the recording for now.